So, this story happened almost 2 years ago, and I was 19 years old. For context, keep in mind I live in Sicily, island in South Italy, and there are a lot of African and Middle Eastern immigrants coming here. This is also a pretty long story. So, summer of 2016, late night. Me and my 3 best friends, Mark, Luke, and John, had walked all the way to this new ice cream place which was open all night and made some damn good ice cream, and waffles, too. The place is in a pretty big and popular square in town, but somewhat detached from the streets which are busiest, and anyway it was late enough that there wouldn't be a lot of people around, which normally isn't a problem if you are moving by car, but, again, we were walking. No big deal, we're a bunch of young guys in your middle and late teens. So, we eat our ice cream and then start heading home. As we were walking down this big road, usually very trafficked during the day, a black woman ran past us. Didn't pay a lot of attention at first and assumed she was just in a hurry, but then I noticed her turning around a corner all of a sudden, and as we went past that corner I spotted her cradling behind the wall. She's crying, barefoot, she was holding her high heels in her hand, and desperately trying to work a cell phone which looked pretty broken. So, yeah, it was pretty clear that something really wrong happened. We stopped and tried to talk to her. I still remember the way she looked at us, a mix of fear, surprise, and hope in her big auburn eyes, but it's complicated. Her sobs made her almost unintelligible. She's panicking and I'm not even sure she speaks Italian or English, and I try to communicate in both languages. When I tried to suggest we take her to a police station, she shook her head and said no, terrified. Maybe she's an illegal immigrant, I thought, and doesn't want to get the police involved. But she was dressed pretty well. Was she roped in a prostitution racket? As we are still trying to communicate with her and try to form a plan on what to do, this big car, sorry, I don't really know a lot about car. I just know it was big and looked expensive, pulls by and an old man, looked 50 or 60, climbs down. At first I am relieved, thinking he saw us and decided to stop and help, but as soon as she sees him, she grabs my hand with such force that it hurt. She's terrified by this guy. The first thing old, fat man does is addressing her in a threatening voice and telling her to get in the car, but she hides behind me. I'm 184 centimeters and have broad shoulders, and probably looked like the toughest in the group. Confused, I ask him who he is and if he knows her, and says he's her boyfriend. Yeah, no way, that girl is in her 20s, and even I think she's gorgeous, and I'm gay. Old man starts getting angry, telling me to let her go, couldn't do that even if I wanted. As I said, she was squeezing my hand, that she was drunk and had to go with him. I tell him that I don't know who he is or who she is, but I can tell she doesn't want to be with him. Old guy keeps getting angrier and bossier, even says you don't know who I am, and if the situation wasn't so tense I'd probably have burst into laughter at such a corny line. At this point, I have to make a disclaimer. I'm sure what follows will make some of you roll your eyes and make you say, yeah, I'm so sure that happened. But I swear it's true. So, the girl, still holding my hand like her life depends on it, sprints like a leopard. I don't have the time to realize what's happening, but I am running along her, and I will be forever thankful for this. My friends come after us. We run for a few minutes and cover more ground than I ever thought possible, and as we turn around a corner and slow down for a second and Mark tells me he spotted the old guy getting in his car and starting to follow us. Shit. I realize we're close to the police station, and I once more try to ask the girl if she wants to go there, but she tells me no, that she tried once and they didn't listen to her. They were friends with the old guy. She spoke Italian and was pretty fluent, by the way. Okay, so, we're being followed by a creepy old guy. He's got a car and we're on foot, don't know where to go, and as I turn to look around I see his car turning the corner. Thinking quick, Luke points out we're close to his house. We run and split hoping to confuse the guy, the girl still not letting go of me. Taking turns and roads too narrow for him to get in, the one time I'm thankful for wild urbanization in my whole life, we managed to reach Luke's house and get in the garage. My heart is pumping and I'm sweating and I think this is the biggest adrenaline rush of my life. Finally safe and calm, we talk with the girl, who lets go of my sore hand. Her name is Juliet, she says she comes from Germany, her dad is German, her mother is Moroccan, and was in Italy as a model. I admit, at first I didn't believe her, but then she had me open Facebook with my phone and there she was, wearing wedding dresses on the seashore of the town, having a toast with photographers and other models. So, who was that guy? Turns out he is her boyfriend. He is an abusive asshole who beats her and is constantly stalking her and sequesters and breaks her phone. The one she was trying to make work at the start of the story was the third one this month, and has even stolen her documents. He threatens her and doesn't let her contact her family to tell about what's going on. I plead to her to tell this to someone. I understand she doesn't trust the police. I think the old guy was probably a former cop, but my mom is a social worker and she has been dealing with many cases like these, and she can help. Mark and John are with me as well, but have been silent for the most part. At that point, Luke comes back with his mom, and it's only now that I realize it's 3 in the morning and we spent the last hour fleeing from an abuser. We explain the situation to Luke's mom and that we need to take July somewhere safe. July finally says we can take her to a friend of hers, and we agree to bring her there, all together. We fit in the car, 4 teens, a black girl in her middle 20s, and a middle-aged woman, and drive her to her friend's house. Before she steps out of the car, I give her my phone number and my mom's as well, and tell her to call if she needs help. She gets in the house and Luke's mom brings me back home. It's now 4 in the morning and the adrenaline rush ends. I start sweating buckets, so I toss my clothes in the clothes bin and just go to bed, tired and confused. The next few days I was on edge. I am a very anxious person, and I was worried that I'd hear or read about the police finding a dead black girl, but it doesn't happen. I don't hear from July, so I hope that she's okay. Then, 2 weeks later, on a Saturday night, I'm heading towards my favorite pub and, amidst the crowd of people, I spot her once more. She has hidden her long, bronze hair with a cloth tied on the top of her head, but I immediately recognize her face, and my heart breaks. She is walking next to the old guy, who has this odious look of smugness on his face, while she looks so terribly sad. I don't know why I didn't do anything or say anything at that point, but I just went on my way, feeling sad and defeated. Maybe I could have done something, and from time to time my mind goes back to that night, but I don't know what. For some reason, the defiance I could show to that guy while alone in a dark road didn't come back to me in the middle of a crowded street. It's been 2 years and I've left town to go to college. I don't know what happened to July or her abuser, but I hope she has managed to get rid of him and that she is safe now. TLDR, helped young immigrant woman escape from her abuser for a night, tried to get her to contact social workers, then spotted her with the abuser a couple weeks later. Don't know what has been of her.